In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 23, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Oklahoma versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati hosts Oklahoma in their very big Big 12 game in program history on Saturday, September 23rd. The Bearcats are coming off of a tough overtime loss to Miami of Ohio in their last game, but they started the season hot with back-to-back wins. Oklahoma is 3-0 to begin the year, and they have barely been tested in their non-conference games as they played all group of 6 teams. This is not the first time the Sooners will play in Cincinnati, but it is the first and only time these teams play as conference opponents. Both Oklahoma and Cincinnati have had some explosive offensive performances against lesser opponents, but I think this matchup could be more physical than anticipated. The Sooners and the Bearcats are top 30 teams in rush rate, keeping the ball on the ground on more than 55% of plays. Furthermore, Cincinnati, the home underdog, has a 6.6% rush rate over expected according to CFB graphs, making it one of the top 20 most run-reliant teams in the country. The Bearcats' reliance on the ground game makes me believe they will do whatever they can to control the tempo of this game and keep the ball out of Oklahoma's hands as much as possible. Oklahoma struggled offensively at times against SMU, which is the strongest opponent the Sooners have faced to date and also happens to be rated lower than Cincinnati in opponent-adjusted defensive efficiency. The Sooners averaged just 6.5 yards per pass and 4 yards per rush against the Mustangs, and punted 4 times in the first half as a result of their poor production. Furthermore, Oklahoma's offensive line ranks outside the top 40 in PFF's pass blocking and run blocking grades, despite playing the 108th rated strength of schedule to this point according to Sagarin. The Bearcats are coming off of a disappointing loss to Miami of Ohio in overtime last week. The offense could not capitalize on drives, and their defense had a hard time slowing down the pass-happy offense of the Red Hawks. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, well, that is exactly how Oklahoma wants to play. Led by Gabriel, the Sooners boast one of the best passing attacks in the country. He is completing upwards of 80% of his throws this year, which is just ridiculous. He should find a ton of time behind his great offensive line to pick apart of the Bearcats' defense. Oklahoma's defense is much improved too. If Cincinnati can't get out of their own way via turnovers or 3-and-outs, this could be a long night for the Bearcats. The Oklahoma Sooners have shown to have an elite offense through 3 games, and they're led by a quarterback who is on fire. Oklahoma also has a scoring defense that's 5th in the country, so this is a balanced attack. Gabriel is playing at an extremely high level and has a litany of wide receivers to throw the ball to on any given week. While the Bearcats are ranked a respectable 47th against the pass, they have not seen an attack like the Sooners yet this season. I expect the Sooners to get up early and take the Bearcats out of their comfort zone and force them to put the ball in the air. This is where the Sooners will be able to flourish by pinning their ears back and pressuring Jones into mistakes. The Bearcats will likely be a popular pick to cover the spread this week after their upset loss, with many expecting them to be motivated to bounce back. I don't share such sentiment for a Bearcats team that is about to play a team, Oklahoma, that will likely be motivated all season to prove that they are better than last year's 6-7 record. The Cincinnati Bearcats just lost to a bad Miami of Ohio team, so it's hard to find the courage to get behind them in this spot. I question if Cincinnati has the horses offensively to keep up. Expect the Sooners to win the turnover battle and take this game by 3 or more scores. So the Oklahoma Sooners to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Sooners have eclipsed this point total themselves twice this season already. While they won't approach 60 points themselves in this matchup, I do expect them to score 30-plus points against the Bearcats. The Sooners' passing attack has too many weapons to be slowed down by a mid-conference team like the Bearcats. In turn, Cincinnati's only chance of staying in this game will be to try and keep pace with of the Sooners offensively. That will only aid in the overall scoring. Either the Bearcats turn the ball over and present the Sooners with a short field repeatedly, or they capitalize and get in the end zone to push the number toward the total. These are two teams that love to run up the score when given the chance. The over is 5-1 this season between the two teams. The Bearcats offense has big play capabilities, but I am leaning on Oklahoma's efficiency to lead the way. Their offense has just looked like a machine through the first couple of games, and I think that will continue on Saturday. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Colorado versus Oregon. The number 19 Colorado Buffaloes collide with the number 10 Oregon Ducks in a Pac-12 showdown on Saturday afternoon. The Buffaloes remained undefeated with a home win against Colorado State. The Ducks also improved to 3-0 after a dominating home victory against Hawaii. Oregon posted a 49-10 road win against Colorado last season. Colorado has been the most fun and exciting story in college football thus far thanks to Coach Prime and his roster overhaul. The Buffaloes are currently 3-0 heading into their first conference matchup in Eugene, Oregon against the Ducks, tripling last season's win total in as many games. Despite their success, the Buffaloes are 21-point underdogs in this highly anticipated and nationally televised game, which could be a sign that oddsmakers believe Colorado is either a bit overhyped or a bit overmatched in this particular contest. From what we have seen so far, the Buffaloes have major concerns along the offensive line, and their defense has been underwhelming and inefficient. In fact, Colorado is 93rd in opponent-adjusted defensive efficiency and ranks outside the top 70 in unadjusted points per drive allowed and touchdown rate allowed despite its 3-0 record. Furthermore, the Buffaloes rank 123rd in PFF's rush defense grade, allowing over 5 yards per carry and just over 195 rushing yards per game, which is an area the Ducks can exploit given their 6.83 yards per attempt and 6th rated PFF rush grade. Oregon has one of the nation's best offensive lines, which opens rushing lanes for multiple talented running backs including Jordan James, Noah Whittington, and Bucky Irving, all of whom average at least 7.4 yards per attempt and have scored 9 combined touchdowns. Through the air, Bo Nix should have plenty of success finding his receivers against a depleted secondary without its star playmaker in Travis Hunter. Colorado's offense is going to be the unit tasked with keeping this game close, but I am not confident Shedeur Sanders is going to have enough time to operate his offense against the Ducks' defense. The Buffaloes are very one-dimensional offensively with a bottom 10 rush rate and a top 3 rush rate over expected according to CFB graphs. This plays into Oregon's strength defensively as the Ducks are 16th in expected points added per pass and 8th in 3rd and 4th down success defensively. Furthermore, Sanders has a 58.3% completion percentage when he is under pressure, which might happen often against Popo Aumavae, Jordan Burch, and the rest of the Oregon front seven. The Colorado Buffaloes have been a great surprise and exciting to watch, but the defense will not hold up against Oregon. Colorado has a prolific offense, but the defense is poor. The defense has conceded at least 35 points in 2 of their 3 games. The unit squandered 499 total yards against Colorado State last week. The Buffaloes needed overtime to beat Colorado State, who are not good a team. They are expected to be in the bottom half of the Mountain West Conference. Oregon has experienced defensive players in the secondary that will give Colorado more trouble than Colorado State did. Furthermore, Oregon quarterback Bo Nix should have no problem generating his usual numbers. The Buffaloes allowed 279 passing yards against TCU and 397 yards against Colorado State. Bo Nix has connected on 78% of his passes this season and has yet to throw a pick. It might be even harder for Colorado to contain the Ducks' running game. They rank 13th in rushing yards, and the Buffaloes' rush defense is pegged 122nd. Shedeur Sanders has been great, but is up against a stellar Ducks secondary that is limiting opponents to 158 passing yards per game. This is a massive number to lay against a team with so much success leading up to this point, but Colorado's defense figures to be in for a long day against Nix while its offense faces its toughest challenge to date against an athletic Oregon defense. So the Oregon Ducks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Colorado runs a quick offense, averaging 82 offensive plays per game, which is 5th. Shedeur Sanders will attempt a ton of passes and has accrued at least 300 yards in all 3 games. The Ducks have a strong defense but gave up 30 points against the Red Raiders, who also have an air raid style of offense. In addition, the Ducks will dominate a shaky Buffalo's defense. They are allowing 460 total yards per game and rank near the bottom of the Football Bowl subdivision in several defensive categories. Oregon will run more than pass with a quick offense that ranks in the top third in plays per game. Oregon has scored at least 38 points in all 3 games. The over is a convincing 7-0-1 in the Buffalo's last 8 road games. I'm expecting the Buffalo's defense to get taken for a ride this game. They've allowed 91 points already, which translates to north of 30 allowed per game. Now their task is to slow down the veteran, Bo Nix. I just don't see it happening, especially without star corner Travis Hunter not being able to play. Look for Nix to light up this Colorado defense that's surrendering 460.3 yards per game. On the flip side, Colorado, with a quarterback who already has 1,251 yards through the air, I think they keep with the passing game and continue to thrive. From a trends perspective, the over is 7-0 in Colorado's last 7 road games. I expect a barrage of scoring. Let's sit back and enjoy a barn burner on Saturday afternoon. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. UCLA versus Utah. The number 22 UCLA Bruins are coming off a massive win in their last game and now find themselves sitting at 3-0 and tied for first place in the stacked Pac-12. And this week they'll do battle with the also undefeated number 11 Utah Utes, who come into this one on the back of 3 quality wins to start the 2023 season. These teams have gotten their wins in very different ways through 3 weeks this season, and this will be the first conference matchup for both teams, and every loss meaning so much in college football. This could be the most important game of the season. This game is flying under the radar compared to the other high-profile matchups on the card this weekend, but this is one of 2 Pac-12 games featuring ranked teams that have a real shot at competing for a conference title. This is a spot where Utah has won 16 straight home games and 28 of the last 30 at Rice-Eccles Stadium. UCLA did win last season's meeting in Los Angeles, but the Utes had won and covered the previous 5 meetings against Chip Kelly and the Bruins in this series. The biggest question in this game will be the status of Utah quarterback Cam Rising, who is rumored to be ready to go for Saturday's contest in what will be his first action since tearing his ACL in the Rose Bowl back on January 1st. If Rising is unable to go, Nate Johnson will likely get most of the snaps at quarterback, greatly bringing down the ceiling of this Utah offense. UCLA has been strong in its first few games of the season. We know that Kelly's team will have an elite offense, but the bigger surprise has been the Bruins' improvement on the defensive side as well. That certainly should hold against an offense with this much uncertainty on Saturday. Cameron Rising's status is still up in the air, but I'm expecting the Utes to give Nate Johnson another starting call. Their offense worked well in Week 3, although the clash against Weber State is not exactly a proper benchmark. The Utes will continue to lean on their defense, which is arguably one of the best in the country. On the other side, the Bruins are playing a tough defense too, so I'm expecting to see a tight battle at Rice-Eccles Stadium. UCLA is 9-0 straight up in its last 9 games played in September, while Utah is undefeated in 16 consecutive outings at home. Utah comes into this game as the higher-ranked team and they will be at home, but they will be facing a UCLA team that has looked solid so far this season. UCLA is putting up over 500 yards per game through 3 games and is rushing for over 270 yards per game. The Utah defense has been very good and is holding teams to 65 rushing yards per game, so it will be interesting to see if UCLA can continue the success on the ground. There is a chance that Cam Rising returns at quarterback for Utah, but I am not sure how effective he will be in his first game of the year. I'd love to find out if Cameron Rising is going to be healthy for this game, but even if he is, I think Nate Johnson's earned at least a look. Utah's defense is also going to be a game changer, but Dante Moore's looked really good so far, and I think at worst, this ends up being a field goal game if UCLA doesn't have a chance to win it outright. Something's got to give in this clash, and I'm going with the Bruins to keep it close. This should be a nice opportunity for UCLA to put an end to Utah's home streak. So the Utah Utes to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game should be a clash of styles as it relates to pace of play. Regardless of who is at quarterback, the Utes are going to huddle up and play a lot slower. Utah should have the clear edge in the trenches in this matchup, and I'd expect the hosts to try and dictate the style of this game through their physical line play on both sides of the ball. The Utes have been primarily running the ball and chewing up clock over the first few games of this season, relying on their defense and ground game to sustain leads and just do enough to get over the finish line. Utah's defense sits at 18th in expected points added per play this season, and that includes a pair of games against Power 5 opponents, so the Utes should be up to the task of defending Dante Moore and this high-powered UCLA offense here. There's also the factor of Moore being a true freshman quarterback heading into his first hostile environment away from home as the starter, and there aren't many home field advantages in college football better than what he'll face in Salt Lake City. With a couple of freshmen under center, both teams will rush a lot. I'm expecting them to struggle against each other and would be surprised if the Bruins and Utes find a way to move the chains frequently. While these teams have the ability to put up 50 points a game, neither have played ranked teams yet, and with just 30 and 31 points allowed by these teams through 3 weeks, it appears this one may end up being a defensive struggle. The total has gone under in 7 of Utah's last 10 games overall and 4 of its previous 5 home contests. On the other hand, the over is 6-1 in UCLA's last 7 showings on the road. In their past 10 head-to-head meetings, the under sits at 6-4, with the under being 5-5 for the Bruins in their past 10 and 7-3 for the Utes. And given their performances defensively this year, coupled with the importance of this game in a hostile environment, big plays will be few and far between, with a score in the 40s most likely. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.